Hi, so I'm going to be doing another painting with subtle lighting. Hi, my name is Escobar. I'm a storyboard artist on the Simpsons television show. I've been working on the show for over 25 years now, and I'm here to empower you. So this is the second time that I'm going to be painting something, well, third time that I'm going to be doing painting with subtle light. Okay. I already sketched out the drawing beforehand, like I did the last time, just to save me some time. Because I just really want to just focus this video on the painting and not just the whole process. Okay, and so let's get started. So before I begin, the very first thing I'm going to do is, like in the last video, I'm going to put in the background. And again, the reason why I'm putting in the background first is so that I can, because the background, the surrounding area influences the figure, right? Whatever they are surrounded by, whatever colors, whatever environment they're surrounded by, the light comes in and it bounces off of the environment and hits the focus, the main figure. And so whatever colors are around the person is going to be reflected into the main figure, and that is why it is a good idea. It's not absolutely necessary, but it might be a good idea to start with the background, just so that you have something to, especially in digital, which is fairly easy to do. I drop the colors in the environment and kind of plop them into on the figure. Okay, so that's why I'm going to begin with the background. Okay, so that is the background. There isn't a whole lot of color in it. I mean, there a lot of variety here in it. There's white and yellow and more yellow. So um, I may make adjustments, but in general, that's it. It's gonna get mostly covered up anyway. It's just something from behind. Also, the thing about having the background there is that if I, depending on the brush I use, which is right now, I tend to first start with the gouache brushes. There's the thin gouache brush and then the gouache brush. I like them because they have texture, and because they sometimes don't go on completely smooth. Well, not completely smooth, but they don't go on really opaque. So some of the background comes through, and that's okay. I kind of like that. It tends to harmonize the stuff a little bit more. Unlike last time, I'm going to attempt to keep some of that coming through. I'm not sure how successful it'll be, but again, this is the kind of thing that I'm looking for, and why I'm doing these things, and I'm just experimenting to see what's working and what's not working. All right, so let's keep going. Now I'm going to add some base colors. I'm going to try to find something neutral, where from the neutral value, I'm going to be able to push to the light and to the dark. So I'm gonna have to. This is always the tricky part for me, is trying to find just the right neutral color. Because when you find the right one, just the right one, then you do the least amount of work, because all you're doing is popping in the whites and popping in the blacks. But when you mess it up, when you mess up the value, the main, like, mid-tone, and this is only a certain method. When you mess up this mid-tone, you end up having to repaint the mid-tone a few times, and it kind of gets messed up. Okay, so I'll put in the mid-tone, and just the general placement of local color. Okay, so I'm done with putting in the midtones. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to put in the light patches and some shadow patches, and the ambient light and the key light. So I got to decide what color the key light's going to be, which is probably sunlight, which is probably going to be like a yellowish white, and then the bounce light, which may be, I mean the ambient light, which may be blue because of the sky, or excuse me, it might be white, also a different kind of white, maybe like a bluish white, because it's getting tinted by the sky. But if and say that there's a white wall next to her, then the sunlight's hitting the wall, it's bouncing back, but it's also being influenced by the ambient light, which is the sky, which is slightly blue. And then that is hitting her face, which would actually change the color of the shadow to mix with her skin tone, white, blue. All of those are mixed in together. But the idea here is that when all the ambient light, the key light, and then the color patches of the shadow, right, hit, if I was to shrink this picture all the way down to something as tiny as this, it should work. It should look right. Just at this level, if I get the patches of painting right, then it should work. It should be it should look already finished, and then the rest of the time it's just going to be rendering. One interesting note that I've discovered for myself is that when it comes to pencil or inking, rendering in pencil or ink, I don't like it. I really, really, really find it tedious. But when it comes to rendering in traditional paint or digital paint, I really like it. I enjoy myself. I don't know what the difference is to me, but it makes a difference because I like the process of painting in traditional and digital, but I do not like doing the exact same type of rendering in ink and in pencil, which is bizarre. But anyway, all right, so let's keep going. Okay, so as you can tell, I forced myself not to make this a big painting, like big. I worked tiny and just kind of put splotches here and there and made it kind of very abstract. I'm hoping that now that I've kind of got it where I think it seems to be working. I mean, there's a few things here and there. This is just too much, but I'm gonna reduce some of these blotches. But now I'm going to zoom back in to this, and I'm going to start refining stuff, making it look a little bit better. I'm going to start adding some line work, which is something that I've actually avoided doing up until this point, but I think it's ready. I'm ready to add it. I think it's working. I like where it's at right now. I do want to make a few adjustments. even right now I'm making adjustments to it, like over here in the head and stuff. But that's the whole point. Like at this point, it's all about the adjustment. What am I doing here? What is happening? Why is that happening? Oh, I see. Okay, gotta be careful. I forgot that I put a gradient there, so I'm going to have to be careful about what I delete and where I delete it. Okay, so I will make a note of that, and I think a little bit bigger head is better than a small one. So I will leave that alone. Um, okay, so time to zoom in and start trying to finish this up. Okay, and that's it. I think I'm done. There, like I said, this part where I was just doing all the final stuff and blending all the main big shapes and then just kind of playing around with the tiny bits. This is the fun part. Um, the hard part is the beginning. I left some of it rough. I didn't want to to clean up too much of it to make it too blended. So it's a little messy in places, and that's intentional. But I think I'm done. If I do anything, I might do it. Right now I'm using Clip Studio Paint. If I have an issue, I'll fix it. But sometimes what I like to do, I don't own Photoshop, right? So what I like to do is to take one of the things that Clip Studio Paint doesn't have is a liquify tool. So I'm thinking that maybe if I have an adjustment that I want to make in the general thing, I would go put it into GIMP, put it in liquify, and then just kind of make adjustments. But I don't see doing that at this point. Maybe later. I think maybe this eyebrow is in the wrong place, and I'll have to fix that. But I'm fixing it now. But I'll just gotta make it come all the way over here, all the way to the end here. Yeah. All right. So it's gonna be like that. Like I'm gonna come back to it and go, oh wait, maybe I could, and then I'll go back and then, oh maybe I could, and then I'll do that. So I'll go back and forth, and fixing little bits here and there, and adjusting things here and there. But otherwise, I think it's done. So hopefully that's been helpful. Another helpful thing that I've recently done is I've launched my first video course, art video course. It is intended specifically for people who would like to learn to draw, but assume that talent is required, that you have to be born with it. This is completely and totally untrue. In the same way that, by untrue, I don't mean that there aren't people who have affinity to drawing. There is absolutely 100%. It's just the exact same way that some people have an affinity to learning new languages. Some people have an affinity to math, stuff like that, right? But that does not mean that you can't learn a new language. It does not mean that you can't learn how to do math, right? It just means that it's going to be a little bit easier for some and a little bit more difficult for others. But it's ultimately, at the end of the day, drawing is a craft. It's a learnable skill, right? And you just have to have the right mindset to start understanding what is required of you so that you could learn to start drawing, right? You have to get the right mindset. Right now, we've got the wrong mindset. That's why it's stopping you from learning to draw. So this course, what it does is it helps step by step rid you of the bad mindset that's going to prevent you from learning to draw, and it's going to show you that you can draw. Now, whether or not you're going to continue pursuing it after the course is done is up to you, but what I do is relieve you of the stigma of the horrible mindset of the thing that is stopping you from learning to draw. So if you can't draw yourself out of a paper bag, you can't draw a straight line, you can't draw a stick figure, this is for you. If you've always wanted to at least know that what it takes to learn to draw, so that you could do it, so that you can start maybe taking it seriously for yourself, then this is the course for you. The link to the course is in the description of this video. It'll start you off on this adventure of drawing. But again, it's about getting rid of the bad mindset that's telling you that you can't even do it because you have to be special. And no, it's just a skill. It's just a skill. Just like writing. Writing is another thing. Some people have an easier time learning to write. Some people even have an easier time learning to physically write, like little kids, right? But the art is in what you do with the craft once you have it, right? You just learn the skill and then you use the craft to do art. The same way that you use the tools of writing, the craft of writing, whether it's just writing ABC or the craft of honing, doing essays or doing stories, that's another craft. Then once you do that, then you could express yourself through it. Like poetry is the same thing. You have learned all the different rules of that, and then you could express yourself. Well, that's the same way with drawing. So if you want to learn to draw, the link is in the description of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this has been helpful for those of you who are interested already a little bit more advanced. But thanks so much, and I'll talk to you next time.